guys, I'm back today with a video on a palette that I was really interested in right away because it just gave me nostalgia of all my teenage years and riding in the car and screaming and singing out the lyrics and driving down the street and people looking at me like I'm crazy. I still get that, but in any case, the palette that I am talking about was one that was kind of controversial in a sense as well. And that is the Hipdot and My Chemical Romance palette. It is so cool. Like, if you are a My Chemical Romance fan, this is a palette for you, my friend. One of my very best friends that I've known since I was like, I don't even know, 8, 9. My friend Jessica, she loves My Chemical Romance. She's seen them like 56 times. I'm not even exaggerating. She's seen them like 56 times. And I always really liked them, but I don't travel, and she wouldn't have cared. She would go anywhere and follow them. She loved them so much. Not loved. She loves them so much. Pretty sure she has every Funko Pop Gerard Way, all of them, like all in a stack. She collects them all. She has more t-shirts of My Chemical Romance than I probably do of clothes in my whole closet. And just in general, it makes her very happy. So what I'm going to do with this is, now that I have reviewed it and done some looks with it and done some swatches, is I'm going to give this to her. Her birthday is in like a month. Well, just about a month. Almost a month. A little less than a month. And I really want her to have this. Her boyfriend tried to get this for her on launch day and was not able to pick it up because I guess it sold out like in seconds. People were really upset. And that is one of my bigger gripes, is when companies do that. They create this hype and then they also release it in other places, which is another thing going on. I'm not part of the drama at all, but I do know that a lot of people are really let down, especially since now I think it might even be available in Ulta, for instance. But people were selling it for like $300 right away, which was crazy, and I really wanted her to have this. I was on the fence about actually picking it up because color story wise is not like my favorite thing. That's just me. I like the colors in it. There's nothing wrong with it or anything. I just personally am more of a fan of a different color story. You guys know me. I like green. If this had been a green palette, which would not make sense for this band at all, I'd have snatched it right on up. But for her especially, I wanted to get this, and I was really glad to have gotten it. So Jess, this is absolutely coming your way as soon as I am done recording this video. And I think you'll probably be really excited because it's a beautiful palette. So let's talk about it a little bit. This palette right here is $24. It comes with 9 shades. Shades look like this. And I can't wait to delve into this a little bit more at the very end and giving you my final thoughts, because what you see is not what you're getting. Let me just tell you that now. It looks like when you see the swatches, your mind might be changed a little bit by what you're seeing here. In fact, I saw swatches online when this first was coming out. It didn't really compare to the swatches that I did today, so I'm really interested for you guys to see those. So I am going to do 2 different eye looks. The first one is more neutral. It's just kind of like a normal everyday kind of wear. Then I went ahead and did this eye look, which I kind of just actually added on top of my first one. So it's kind of continuation of the first look. You could probably omit a lot of the stuff that I do underneath. I think that if you just did the second half of what I'm doing with the first half of what I do, you would still get the same look. That's just my thoughts there. Also, if you guys could go ahead and excuse my face, I have swatched like 36 lipsticks today, so maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. I'm not counting, and I didn't count. That sounds ridiculous, but I totally didn't. So my mouth and my face is really red, and I am really broken out because your girl totally forgot to switch out her birth control like she was supposed to. So I have a really bad hormonal breakout right now. And by breakout, I mean I actually did a foundation review, and you're gonna see just how bad my face actually looks. I have rosacea, and my skin is really like cratered. So you guys will be able to tell what you guys think about this foundation. I usually wear a different foundation. So for me, I'm going to do a few more wear tests with this new foundation, and then I'm going to do a review for you guys. That way you can check it out. I applied it a few different ways already, and I would like to still do it a few more before I give my final thoughts on it. In any case, let's do some swatches. If you want to see these looks, keep looking after that, and then watch the very end for my final thoughts on everything. Okay, the first shade in the palette is called Saints Protector. Kind of like a blue-gray toned purple. The next shade is called Pitchfork Red. And it's almost like a slightly orange and pink undertoned red shade. It is still very red, but it's a very interesting red. It is called Serpent Sun. And that's just a really nice matte black shade. The next shade is called Starless Eyes. And this is more like a true standard red shade. It's called Shotgun Sinners. This is a lovely mid-tone gray. The next shade is called All the Ghosts. And this is a very gray toned brown shade. It's called Mausoleum Door. This is just a really nice tan shade. The next shade is called Flock of Doves. And this is just a flat white shade. The last shade in the palette is called Explosive Light. To me, this shade is actually very different than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a really true silver shade from the swatches that I'd seen. But when I have it on my lid and on my arm, it's more like an oil slick kind of color. It's silver, it's blue, it's gray, it's a little purple. Different lighting yields different coloring, in my opinion. Like, I can't even see what you're seeing in the camera because I'm trying a different camera setup. In any case, this is the whole palette. Okay, you guys, so I've done swatches, I've done 2 looks. Hopefully that was all really helpful to you guys. Let's talk about the palette and what I think briefly. So the outside, of course, I love it. This is my favorite album cover that they did, and this was probably truthfully my favorite CD because I really felt like I could relate to this one the most. So for me, this was like super sentimental in a way because this was definitely my youth in a little palette here. Now, I didn't want to do a look that I thought everybody else was going to do, similar to the one that was in the music video for Helena. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm really sorry, but that's how I pronounce it in my mind. That's how I read it. I actually decided to take a different approach to it, and hopefully that doesn't drive you guys nuts, because I know that a blown out red eye is like one of the coolest looks that you can possibly do, and I actually kind of wanted to do it really bad, but I've already seen a bunch of videos where people have done that, so I didn't want to do the same thing. Now let's talk about performance. All of these shades worked really well. I have no problems with it. I wish there would have been more metallic shades. There was only one shade that was like satin finished. I mean, I wouldn't consider it metallic. It's more satin to me. Now, the thing that is really cool and interesting about that shade is that it is very different than what it actually looks like in the palette itself. And the shade that I'm talking about is the silver one. It looks just like a plain silver, but as you can see, I've got it in the inner corner of my eye, and if you look at both of my looks, it's almost more of like a silver, blue, purple, gray kind of shade, and that is gorgeous, like an oil slick, but in one shade. And it's strange because I've seen other people swatch it, and it looks just like a plain silver, and then I used it and I thought it was very, very different. So I don't know if it's just mine, if I just got one that looks like, even now, I think it looks more like silvery blue, slightly purple toned right now. But in any case, I thought that was really neat, but I still think that it needed another metallic shade in here. That's just my only downside to the whole thing. Other than that, I thought it was a really nice palette, personally. As far as blending went, I thought it blended really, really easily. So for $24, I definitely feel like this was a good deal. Now, I know there was a box set, and it was something that was talked about a lot on other people's channels because they were not happy. The box set, actually, you figure when you're going to get a box set of something, a collector's edition of something, that you're going to get a discount for buying more items, and that was not the case with that, and so I know a lot of people were upset about it, which is why I only got the palette. So in any case, I can't speak to the other items in the collection, but I can say that this was definitely a win. So if you see it available at Ulta or back on the Hipdot website, it is definitely worth picking up, especially if you're an MCR fan. I definitely think this is something that you could display proudly and really get a lot of good use out of. So in any case, I really hope this video was helpful for you guys. If it was, make sure you like this video, leave a comment down below, subscribe, and ring the bell for future updates, and so long and good night.